Alright, what you see here is a SMC Laguna ceiling fan. I got this fan almost 4 to 5 years ago now from Tommy Bodden, better known on YouTube as the Fan Page. Got this from him brand new in the box, and since then it's definitely not in the new in box condition anymore. As I did have this installed down here temporarily as a basement fan for about a week or so, although I published all the videos of the different fans I tested all at the same time. I had the Ancom T, then I tried out the low profile, and then I ended up trying this, and then I settled on the Mica Mesa. Back when I was using this as the fan basement, but now it's just being used as a test area. This fan I didn't keep up only because I figured I'd put up something that was a little bit bigger, and also something that the bearings wouldn't go bad very quickly, because this fan already has noisy bearings to it despite it being new, in a sense. Plus it doesn't have any vents, so I already know that would definitely cause the motor, if I was to leave it on 24/7, probably not, the fan probably won't last too long. It's usually having a very thin, cheap spinner motor to it, with no vents. And it's stamped steel, so that definitely wouldn't turn out well. And also, I remember leaving it on for just a few hours just to see how hot it would get, and it was burning hot after a few hours, so that already told me that this probably wouldn't be the best fan to keep down here. But if it was a used one, I probably wouldn't mind as much, but since this one's in really nice shape, despite it having some scuffs in some areas since I've last used it and such, I still rather keep this in an area where it wouldn't get heavy use. Now maybe like for a fan display I would put it up like maybe over a workbench, but not to have it running 24/7 like I would have if it was installed down here permanently. But yeah, it's always been one of my favorite fans in the collection, despite it not being that important to me like it used to, and so not something I'm as happy to have, I guess. I mean, I'm happy to have it, but like, I found a lot cooler stuff since getting this fan back in early 2016, late 2015-ish, I'd say. But I mean, I've always liked these fans. It says I found a lot more unique stuff since, but it's definitely one of my favorite fans, especially back when I was really starting to get into collecting. But yeah, now something that's interesting with these is that instead of the black wire being the blue wire, which usually you'd use for the light, is the one that powers the fan, and the black wire is actually the one for the light. I'm not sure if that was the case with all SMC fans and such, maybe just with these, but yeah, and also the fact that this is my first SMC fan is definitely special for that reason too. I know that they're very popular within the fan community. I definitely plan to get more SMC fans at some point as well. But it's definitely always going to be sentimental for that reason. That's the first spinner fan in my collection as well, and first SMC. So, yeah, and also just for those who weren't around in the 80s and 90s. Well, I mean, in the 90s not as much, but from what I've heard, these were basically the Littletons back then, before like Littleton type fans came out, and were like the budget economy model for everybody. Because these were like sold at Walmart and Target, places like Kmart, especially. But they were very cheap fans even back then. Like I don't think they were any more than $20 from what I've seen in the ads. No, they definitely were not like $40 and such. I mean, they were very affordable fans, and for the price that they were at, they definitely did a very good job air movement wise. But longevity and not getting issues over the time, that's a different story. But still, these are definitely very iconic fans in the vintage fan community due to the vintage appeal it has, the stencil blades on it and such. And every time I see this fan, I've seen a lot of spinner fans as a kid, and every time I see this one, it reminds me of a lot of them and such. I know I've seen some Lagunas as a kid. I just can't remember which ones were actually Lagunas and which ones weren't. But just looking at the motor of it, I know for a fact I've seen some Laguna fans as a kid. There's some of them I probably saw like maybe once or twice, and that's it. And then there's some other fans I saw several times, so I know they were Lagunas, but I just don't remember like what was the place or what was it for, like if it was like a dry cleaners or something. Actually, now speaking of that, I feel like I might have seen some at the dry cleaners. Two small brown ones. not sure if they had this thick motor, like this bigger motor like this, or the skinnier one from the late 80s into the 90s. But yeah, let's go ahead and start this fan on low. And I don't know if I already mentioned it, but this fan does have bearing noise, which is something that these fans are known for. Oh, this one already has bearing noise right out of the box. Now, once I put it on reverse, you'll probably be able to hear it better without the air noise. Now, you guys definitely, well, you guys probably remember seeing this in the fan collection living vlogs, one of the earlier ones. I was actually going to test this, right, but then I was unsure about if this would be a test area still, so I was just sitting around in the background on that box, assembled completely. But also I figured maybe test other fans I really had to test first in case it took a while to test other stuff. Because this one, it was more of a remake. There was just other fans I wanted to really get tested this before possibly losing the access to this space. But luckily, I still have access to it, so I can use it for testing, and that's it. But yeah, it does hum a bit more on the low and medium speed this time around. I mean, there's nothing in between the metal mounting bracket and the box, just like it was before. I put like some insulation stuff in between it. Just because I'm only testing it this time, I'd leave it without it. But yeah, there's also that hair salon that has two of these. Still there. I just did a update video of this from the outside recently. I'm gonna try to see if I can do a video of them on the inside, though it might be a bit trickier to do it on all the speeds due to the COVID stuff going on and such. And also, a lot of hair salons and barbershops are doing like appointments only. So I really don't think they would. It might be tricky because they might rather use the like limit of people in there for getting business instead of just someone going in to film a fan and such. Just totally, I don't definitely understand it without a question. I mean, obviously they need to make a profit to survive and such. But yeah, they are still there to the same fact. I do see them quite a bit when I take the bus to work, so I do keep an eye out for them, just in case they ever get replaced or something, which I doubt because they use them all the time. I see them on a lot too. But yeah, these are definitely like I can just see this in a laundry mat without a question. That's just like for some reason that's like the ideal location I can see these in. A house, yeah, but I don't know. It's just I get laundromat vibes from these fans. Not like a newer laundromat though, but like an older one that has like a lot of older washing machines and such. There was a laundromat that burnt some of the machines caught on fire, the dryers, but they had like a mixture of like newer and older machines, and it was really cool to, and such. Some that were like completely orange, some were like a blue coloration. Something I always found very unique as a kid, like they had a mixture of old and newer ones and such. It's not something that you see anymore, but yeah. Alright, let me go ahead and move this fan up to medium. But also, I think I mentioned before, move it to medium, but it is actually pushing a pretty good breeze on the low speed. Despite having some bearing noise, the fan is still pretty quiet. What I really do like about the motor is it does look a lot like those can arm type motors. It's like those curved weight industrial. It's just the motor of it, really flat looking with a gold stripe around it. Reminds me of those type of fans. What it really reminds me of is the Crompton Parkinson industrial commercial fans or industrial fans, whatever you want to call them. That's what it really reminds me of. Definitely would like to find one of these without the switch housing. There is a version of them without the switch housing. Those are pretty hard to find. Some more of the switch housing is okay too. I like the look of it as well. Actually, now that I think about it, there's other places I can see these at are like older flea markets and such, without a question. Kind of like the install of like those Moss Caribbean Breezes at a flea market that's somewhat close to me, although they fortunately had closed down due to the pandemic, but the building's still intact, so I have been keeping an eye on it. But that building's been there for so many years, I really don't see anything happening to it anytime soon. I definitely would like to find another one like this that's white but more worn out. But I don't know. There's like I find some on eBay. It's just eBay always has them overpriced. People always think these are valuable fans when they really aren't, and such. I mean, they're desirable, but not for the price people like, think they're worth on eBay and such. Especially when they were very inexpensive fans back then. That's why you see them on eBay so much because they were sold like tomorrow. Like a lot of people bought them back then. I mean, for the price, it definitely does. You definitely do get your money's out of it and such. Which is back when SMC still made decent stuff before they really took a dive in quality. I mean, back then in the like '80s and such, they made stuff that was cheap quality for the most part, but was still good performing fans for the price. But then like after '88, I think it was like when they a lot of the models really started to take it downhill in quality and performance, like performance parts, qualities, bearings, and such. Um, let's go ahead and move it up to the high speed. And I figured I'd mention for those who don't know, this is the original pull chain that these come with. And this fan definitely flies on a high speed. Something I've also considered for a bathroom install as well, but I wouldn't want to use a new one. I'd rather use a used one. I guess I had considered putting in the bathroom actually, but just I'd rather use a used one instead. Plus, I feel like with just how cheap the paint on it is, it probably would rust up pretty quickly in there. But this one actually would look pretty nice in the bathroom due to it looking very dated looking and such with the white and black tiles from like the 1950s and 60s era and such. With the baby blue wall. Like this definitely would actually look nice in there. I'd rather have something that's actually more that can hold up to the humidity in there a lot better. I mean, this does use actual wood blades, not MDF particle board stuff. So I mean, the blades would hold up. Is this the finish on it? I'm not sure. Cause the paint's very thin on it. It doesn't have like a nice coating of paint. It's a very thin coating of paint. So for that reason, I really don't think it would hold up too well in there. But I could be wrong. Okay, there was times like before I put up the Monte Carlo micro down here, back when I was using it as a fan basement for storage and such, I was thinking about putting this right over in that area where the Monte Carlo was. This, I feel like it would have been too close to that pipe. It definitely would have cleared it, but I just feel like half of the blade wouldn't be able to push them. Half the fan wouldn't be able to do that good of a job because most of the pipes would be blocking half of the clearance for the blades. So that's why I figured I'd put the Monte Carlo over there instead. Plus, I feel like this would have been a bit too cramped over there as well. Now, something I had thought about doing was putting this over in the entry area, where I ended up reinstalling the Encom Petit and putting the Encom Petit over here, where the Monte Carlo was, but I already knew the Encom Petit wouldn't work over there. In the back area over here. This one I actually thought about installing in the other basement, but I'd rather not do it for this one. If I'm going to do it, install a Laguna over there, I'd rather use like a used beat up one. That way I don't care about it getting beat up. Whereas this one, I kind of, I mean, if I found another one brand new in a box, like still and such, like I'd rather you, then I wouldn't mind putting this one over there because it's already kind of a little bit dinged up and such. But since it's my only one that's in nice shape right now, I'd rather not use it over there for the, as of now. Alright, I'll spin down and I'll show it in reverse. Something I've always wondered, like, I know like Walmart would like install their own ceiling fans they have for sale in the store, and some occasions they would have like one of their models above the photo booth or something. I've always like wondered, like how many people have seen like something like this in a Walmart back in the day. I know like in some Walmarts, the larger ones, they had like two industrial fans in the entry area and such, and then some of them had a bunch of them over the registers. I've heard that some of them actually even have Lagunas, I think. Now that I think about it, or something like it. I'm not sure if it was this version of Laguna, but like the later ones, I think. Alright, Kmart and such. I know like the Kmart, or the last one that was somewhat close to me, had originals, I'm pretty sure, in the Kmart Cafe, but I only saw it like back in 2004 and such. I didn't go up close to see them because their area was like blocked off and such. But I can kind of like see it above it and such. Plus, my mom, back then, I would always run off and do my own thing in Kmart, and then after like 10 minutes, they would have to call my mom up front to get me. So, didn't want that happening, basically. I kind of find it interesting though with SMC is that some models are like called the Laguna, Emperor Flush, Park Avenue, and then you have some that were just U42, like letters with like a size number and such. I always find that very interesting how some were actual like names and then some were just like model number names and such. Alright, now to show it on reverse. In fact, one of my dad's friends from high school did like I used to go to their place quite often as a kid, and coincidentally, he actually works right next to the apartment I live in the library as a maintenance guy and such. But I remember they had a spinner fan in one of the bedrooms with a mushroom globe. I'm not sure. I don't think it was one of a Laguna. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was something else. I would have remembered the blades being like this one. Might have been some CAC thingy, but it did not have stencil blades. It was just plain white. I'm not sure if it's still there. And I know in another room they have like a antique brass or bright brass Huntress fan or something, either a Passport or a Summer Breeze. I know they had like put it up like in early 2001-ish, something like that. And then later on in another room they put a Harbor Breeze Armitage up, the earlier version, 42-inch one. It's like that taking sound it makes. Not for medium. And then in the kitchen they had like a Hampton-made Chatham, I'm pretty sure. And then that fell down, so they antique brass one. And then they put up another fan they had brought from another house that they took down. It's like a white and brass cane bladed hugger fan with 3 to 4 lights, I think. White blades with cane, but like dark, like it had like a coloration to the cane. Then they removed that when they remodeled the kitchen and put out one of those Kitchener propeller fans. They sent me a video of it, but I haven't been there since like 2013. I'm feeling quite a bit of breeze from it over here on reverse. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos to come.